What's going on, bottom line viewers? It's Mitch here, joined by Fitty Trent AC. We're here to recap the Ottawa Senators versus the New York Rangers, game number 6, and the game where the Senators have now advanced to the Eastern Conference Final. We'll discuss their future in the Eastern Conference Final. We'll discuss this series as a whole and also this game. Game number 6, they took it 4-2 with an empty netter at the end of the game. Lot to discuss when it pertains to the Ottawa Senators and also a look back at the New York Rangers season. But I want to know what you guys think in the comments section. Of course, we are live right now. Let us know what you guys think about the Rangers season, what you guys think about the Senators going forward, whether they can beat the Capitals or the Penguins in the next round. And, let us know how you feel about this game. Also, before we start and we get these fine gentlemen's opinions on this game, I just want to give a quick shout out to our social media. We had a meeting today. We talked about our social media impact, and we want to let you guys know that you guys can follow us on Twitter. Below, there are links in this video of all our Twitters. You can follow us there. Also, we have a Facebook. If you go to the channel, in the channel, you'll see that we have a Facebook. Also, if you go to Facebook, you can search up The Bottom Line View and you'll find it. You can like us on there. You can follow us on Twitter. That would be awesome if you guys could do that. But besides the social media, which I'll plug at the end as well if you want to know more about it, let's talk about this game. Let's talk about this series. Guys, what did you think about this game?
Well, it was easy that Ottawa outplayed them for the first period and a half. New York gets the goal in the second to make it 2-1, and then right away they come back 5 minutes later with 3 minutes left in the period, and Karlsson gets a one-timer off a rush as a defenseman. The guy's insane. You almost could argue he's the best player in the world right now, the way he's playing. Nothing against Crosby, nothing against McDavid, nothing against Malkin. I just think the way he's playing, if you look at the first two series, he's one of the best players in the world, the way he's playing. Rangers gave a pushback down 3-1. They score early on the Kreider goal. Both goals were kind of just lapses in the defense of Ottawa, so that makes it 3-2. And then Rangers tried to fight back, and Anderson was stellar in this game, made a lot of big saves. Seems like he was in control. And at the end of the day, they move on. And I didn't doubt that the Rangers were going to, make it a strong effort in the third. They definitely did that. I think the better team won this series, and the better team's moving on. The Rangers had a lot of experience, and I think it was a huge mountain to climb for Ottawa to get past. And we'll talk about what we feel of Ottawa, but, depending how far they go, I can't really compare them to any team I've seen in the past. It's really hard to put your finger on who the Ottawa Senators are, but every time I watch them and in the games they win and their battle, the cardiac kids, they're really fun to watch, and I'm excited to see them in the next round.
No, for sure. I completely agree there, Adam. I mean, it's hard to place them like where they're standing as being like one of the teams that are in the playoffs right now, because looking at their records right now, basically the only one that's kind of better that you can say has had a rougher playoff like push has been the Nashville Predators. I mean, facing Chicago and then St. Louis. But you look at Ottawa, they faced Boston in that first round, which are no slinches when they are in the playoffs whatsoever. And then a very, very experienced and poised team with the New York Rangers, a team that I thought might be able to carry on against these Senators, being a little bit in that veteran leadership role of being able to be here before, having that kind of composure. I didn't know how the Senators were going to be able to hold themselves, but they ended up proving a lot to me. That they proved that they were the quicker team, they proved that they were the most skilled team, and they proved that they wanted it more. And that truly led them not just past this game, but past this series as well. For the most part, they usually had quite a bit of an edge over the Rangers, besides the odd moment here and there. But overall, it was a really exciting series, and overall, it was great to see that we actually have a Canadian team in the top 4. And since how long? It's been since like 2009, since 2010, when the Canadians did it with like Halak as their backup goaltender. So it's been a while, and it's good to see that the Senators have done it.
Yeah, Has it been that long?
No, it was 2014 Montreal.
Okay. That's true.
Yeah, okay. That's why I didn't think it was that long. Guys, I respect you, but
don't say what I think you're going to say.
I got to disagree, okay? This is how I feel about this series. The Eastern Conference Final is happening right now. It's the Penguins and the Capitals. That is the Eastern Conference Final. This other series exists, and that's fine. It's by two fine teams, but they're not on the same level as the Capitals and the Penguins. We've talked about this before. I've gone at length about how I think the playoff format is absolute garbage, and this is just proof that having an Ottawa Senators team, which I think is fun to watch. I think they're a fun team with some young talent and some skilled players. I like some of their players. Karlsson is great. Best defenseman in the league. I love the Laxer Kyle Turris. There are certain guys on the team I like to watch, but they're not as good as the Penguins or the Capitals. And it just sickens me to see a team that's not as good getting to the Eastern Conference Finals when there's these two teams in a dogfight going 7 games that are much more talented and, oh yeah, had a much better record in the regular season. Why are they playing each other? Because the playoff format sucks. That's how I feel. Great. Good job, Ottawa. If you're an Ottawa fan, nothing against you. I like your team, and I hate the Rangers, so good job. But
yeah, weren't the Rangers were the last team to be what? They were down 3-1 against a team one time, and they came back and won, right?
I think so.
Yeah. What was this, 2014 playoffs? Second round?
They beat the Penguins, yeah.
Yeah, no, and they were down 3-1 in that series. And then it's weird. Who did Penguins play in that first round of that year and beat?
I think they beat the Senators.
They beat Columbus.
Or Columbus. That's
Ooh,
right.
Eerie. Anyways, we're talking about this game, but
Yeah. How many cups Penguins got though?
2?
And how many the Rangers got though?
1?
No,
the Senators have 0.
Like recently. If you're talking how many the Penguins actually have, it's 4. But,
yeah, I know. I'm just talking that you've been
okay.
For.
Okay, just wondering. But yeah, what the hell did that have to do with this game? All I was saying is that
gotta get my jabs in, man.
Is this not correct? The two best teams are playing in the same series right now.
Yeah, no, you could say that on paper. I will give you Washington and Pittsburgh are the two best teams, but we've seen time and time again. This is the Stanley Cup playoffs, man. Upsets happen. Nashville happens. Teams like Ottawa, we've seen before, get there by playing a complete game, and that's what they're doing. And we're going to see them, in the next round, whoever they play, they're going to put up a fight. They might not move on.
My issue, Adam, though, is not that they're making the Eastern Conference Finals. It's that they haven't played anyone to get there. They haven't had
the Rangers.
Who beat the first place?
The Rangers came 4th place in the Metro Division. 4th.
No, I'm just saying
They
that
haven't, at least Nashville played Chicago. So I totally respect them. They've had to go through a good team, and they swept them, and they deserve that. But Ottawa has had the easiest road to the Eastern Conference Final. They've had the easiest road of the playoffs.
I'll say about that, I think they in their 2 series, they probably played maybe the 2 most experienced teams out of all the other. I'm not saying championships. I'm saying playoff. Did you see the number of games that Rangers team has played in the playoffs? Have you seen the number of games that Boston team has played? Maybe not the Boston, they had injuries, but still, you're playing and that's huge for the Senators to be able to beat them, because a lot of people thought the Rangers were going to take it.
I just don't like how they have played nobody basically. And you have other teams that are having.
They played the way they've won games, like game 2 with Pajot, 4 goals, and they scored 2 goals with 3 minutes left.
But Adam, is it fair to work your ass off in the regular season and then not get awarded for it?
I don't know. I think hockey. Well, you know what? Somewhat, but I also feel like standings get thrown out the door when it comes to the NHL playoffs.
To your point of calling that the Rangers were nothing, the Rangers had 2 less wins than the Pittsburgh Penguins did this year. That's all. To your nothing, New York Rangers.
Yeah, 2 games. That could be just an OT win. That could be a shootout win. That's 2 shootout wins.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
Well, it depends what Pittsburgh Penguins team we're talking about.
Well, I was talking about the 1st and 2nd place teams in the entire league. You can look this up. Are playing in the 2nd round.
But no one cares about President's Trophy. I know they're good teams, but we've seen,
I just don't think it's fair. I think the playoff format sucks. It sucks.
Or you could say that division was, I guess, they won and lost against each other more than those other teams did. Maybe that's why.
They
know?
produced 4 playoff teams. Good,
Yeah, no,
good
so did
teams.
So you agree
so
that
do
the
you.
Ottawa Senators just beat a good team with the Rangers? You agree with that then?
In the regular season, considering I only think that there were 3. Okay, I'll put it this way. I only think there were 3 good teams coming to the playoffs. One of them proved today that they suck, and now I'm back to 3 by the team that beat that team. So I think that the Penguins, the Capitals, and the Nashville Predators are good teams. The rest of them aren't. That's where I stand right now. Congratulations to the Senators. Great work. But you've beat nobody as far as I'm concerned. You beat the 4th place team in the Metro, and you played the worst team in the entire playoffs. That's where I stand with their victories. Good work, but you haven't played anybody yet. Let's see what you do next round. If you win, if you get the upset, then congratulations. You're a great team, and you've proven me wrong. But until then, they've proven me nothing, and there's nothing you can say to change my opinion on that.
No, we won't change your opinion, but we just we've seen them play hockey, and they've dug themselves out of a lot of holes. They're getting good goaltending that, you got to give them tons of respect for closing a team out in game 6 when that's an easy one to just not win. Game 6 is, you could win the series by winning game 6, but you could also lose. And then maybe there's a game 7. They shut two decent teams down in the 6th game and end up moving on instead of having a game 7, which I'll commend them for doing that too. Because
I think they really, in this game, we haven't even got to the stats, but they need to thank their goalie for this win.
Yeah, but
they need to thank their goalie for this one.
That's the playoffs, man.
But because I don't think they had a shot until 7 minutes left in the 3rd period.
Yeah, maybe not. A win's a win. There, Derek, coach. A win's a win. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, but they played a crappy team. It's
but they're not even that team though. We'll get into
this. Is what it reminds me of. Can I tell you what this reminds me of? And I've speak from experience from watching these NFL playoffs year after year. This is what it reminds me of. The Indianapolis Colts walk over 2 bum teams. Then they go to the AFC Championship and lose by 40 points to the Patriots. And then they say, why the Patriots got no competition? Because the Colts walked through easy road, and then they got their butt whooped. This is what it reminds me of. The Colts of 2 years ago.
I guess, but I wouldn't compare. So you're pretty much saying the Capitals and the Penguins are the Patriots? They're not up there.
No, but they're the best team in the league. That's what I'm saying.
I know, but I think the NHL has a lot more parity than the NFL does. So I think it's hard to say, you know what I mean? Because the NHL, we've seen history. The first 2 teams normally win. The first 2 seeds, they'll normally go on and win the Super Bowl. We've seen time and time again that the top 2 seeds in either side not win the Stanley Cup every time.
All right, let's get to the stats. Senators 4-2 over the Rangers. In case you didn't hear me, the first 3 times. To that guy that was freaking out at the beginning in the chat, DJ King. Who won? Tell me who won. Who the F won? Shut the F up. Tell me. Bro, I said this 6 times. The Senators won the game. And if you couldn't get it from the conversation, the Senators won the game 4-2. Okay? There you go. All right.
And it's in the title.
Yeah, it's in the title as well. The Ottawa Senators scored 2 goals in the first period. Look like the hot team. They look like the team with the desperation. That's what I always talk about. Yesterday, the Penguins didn't have desperation. And if they don't, tomorrow they're going to get their ass kicked. Hoffman and Stone scored their 4th of the playoffs for each of them. In the second period, you had Zibanejad, the old Ottawa Senator, with a goal. Then you come back with a great goal on an odd man rush from Erik Karlsson. Now the defenseman forgot to cover him, but it was still a great goal. Then you have Chris Kreider showing off his speed with a goal in the 3rd period and an empty netter by Fiddy Trent's favorite player. Who, Fiddy Trent?
Pajot!
So those are the goals for the game. Not a lot of penalties. Only actually 5 penalties in this entire game. 2 by New York, 3 by Ottawa. Interesting. We'll see if that continues. Obviously, these 2 teams aren't very, that first off, they don't really have a rivalry with each other. And second of all, they're not very physical teams and they don't take a lot of penalties. But this was interesting that there was only 5 penalties, maybe because it was an elimination game. Ottawa, Karlsson, again, one of the stars of the game, +4, proving that he's the best defenseman in the league. 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. And I saw a tweet. I don't remember who it was from. It was from one of the guys on TSN. He said that this is a coming out party for Erik Karlsson. And I paused because I'm like, this guy has already won 2 Norris trophies. Like, if you don't know this guy was already good, like, just look up his resume. But I kind of agree with what he said because not a lot of people, including myself, like, I'm not a huge fan of Karlsson, but, like, I respect that he's a good player. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not – but it's like, really? You didn't know that Karlsson was a good player? But anyways,
well,
he's playing the best he's ever played, I think is what they were trying to say there.
And exactly. And 2, they've never made it to the Eastern Conference Finals. This is 2 solid series, regardless of who they played. And he led them. He's always led them. But I think really, if you look at his point production, his plus-minus in this series, he was +4 today, on for every goal, not on for 1 against, which is just insane, to play that many minutes now. And I think the problem everyone says is he's not that good defensively, but, they're still putting him against some good lines in the first 2 series, and he's been great. His stats all across have been great. So
I'm really
interesting to see how he does against a top.
Yeah, that's what I was just going to say. I'm intrigued to see how he does against either of the teams that make it next round because no matter what line he's playing against, he's going to have to play against the scoring line. But obviously, the guy's always been a great offensive player, and he showed that off on that great goal where he kind of like passed over to a guy, joined the rush. It's like a 4-on-2 or something like that. Nobody covered him, went passed it down to the corner, got it back on a give and go and scored. That was a nice goal. Stone scored another one off the shoulder of Lundqvist. Looked like Lundqvist could have maybe had that one, but it went in nonetheless. Hoffman scored. Peugeot. Then you have MacArthur with two assists. Weidman had an assist as well. -2 for Phaneuf, the man that I say is overrated. I think it proven there. CC -1.
One game and he proves it for you. Like there's this short-term memory, man.
His whole
short-term memory.
Bro, since the World Juniors when he was named captain.
I grew up thinking I hated this guy, the most overrated player. But you have to admit, him as a second-line defenseman on any team with no pressure on him is a decent guy to have, I believe.
I think he's a little bit better than Kevin Bieksa. Mathot had +3, which I've been all over him all playoffs. I don't think he's been playing that great, but he played well. In this game, didn't really even do anything that I saw that was like bad. Like I've been seeing him take a lot of really stupid penalties in this series, but he didn't do it in this game, so that's a positive. Going to New York, Zibanejad did lead the way with 2 points, but there was not a single player on this team that was a +1. Not a single player. There were some evens, but there was no +1s. Rick Nash had 6 shots on goal, did not find the net, though. Also had 3 takeaways defensively. Zuccarello, 5 shots, 3 hits. Kreider had that goal, 4 hits and 4 shots. Grabner, 4 shots. Girardi, 3 shots. What else we got? Not much else. I think McDonough got outschooled by Karlsson. I don't think McDonough really looked like that top-notch defenseman next to a guy like Karlsson in this series. That's something maybe you want to talk about. Vesey kind of took a stupid penalty in the game. Other than that, I mean, those are the stats for the game. Lundqvist, 22 saves, 3 goals against. For Anderson, though, look at this. 37 saves on 39 shots. And I'm going back to the Rangers. Man, they lost this game, first off, because they started slow. And second of all, because Anderson for the Ottawa Senators stole the game. And that's what you need to do. I'll give you credit. Now, Ottawa, I thought, didn't play a great third period. But they got the goaltending that they needed. And sometimes a team needs to be bailed out by their goalie. And that's what happened in this game. Anderson won it for him. He stole a game, and now they won't have to play a game 7 because of it. What did you guys think of the performances? Who played the best? Who played the worst? What did you think of the goaltending? Go ahead.
I'll first start just like the scores. Obviously, Karlsson getting 2 points. Stone with a great shot there, which I think Lundqvist probably could have saved it. When we're looking at kind of underrated heroes, we didn't talk about those. So those 3 penalties that got called on Ottawa were in the first period, I believe. There was a 4-minute penalty, high sticking, and there were these blocks that Bobby Ryan made. And, you know, Bobby Ryan's actually been pretty good in this series, I think. And when he made those 2 blocks in a row, and those were tough blocks to make, it just kind of showed what this team's all about, team first. And I thought even Burrows had a couple plays that defensively he's looking not that bad. For Rangers, the one guy I have to call out is the guy they picked up at the deadline. Smith was absolutely horrific on first the Stone goal. It was a 2-on-2, and he had the shooter, he had Stone, and he was playing it like a 2-on-1 for some reason, letting Stone walk in on the short side and just take a shot. And then Smith was nowhere to be found in his spot when Karlsson got that one-time goal. So I thought that was a little disappointing. But Ottawa, Stone, Turris is always looking good. Turris has kind of turned into, you know, obviously he gets the points, but he's just an unbelievable two-way player. And I did like Ceci. Obviously he was on for 2 goals. And Mark Methot does a really great job playing with Karlsson. I think that's probably one of the best D pairings, obviously because you're with the best player, but also because he plays with that offensive defenseman, and they complement each other nicely. So I'm going to go with those guys that really stood out for me.
Great picks there, AC. For me, for Ottawa, someone that like really stood out, not because they played well, just they stood out because I have not seen this player in like decades. Chris Neil, if you did not realize, he had 1 shift out on the ice. I mean, played 1 minute and 30 seconds. I thought that was kind of funny to see Chris Neil back with the Ottawa Senators. Just a little throwback to like 06 and 07 when they were trying to make the Stanley Cup final every single year. Maybe this is a tactic. Maybe they're going to get rougher and tougher for the next few rounds. Who knows? I mean, I got to give my boy Pajot some credit. I mean, he looked pretty good. Yes, he only got 1 point, and that was the empty net goal. But 2 shots, a hit, you know, a couple blocks, 60% on the draw. That was really nice. Basically, everyone was really good in the faceoff dot, I thought, for the Ottawa Senators. The only player that played really bad in the faceoff dot was definitely Zach Smith. I mean, 0% on the faceoff dot when he's known to be your 3rd to 4th line center to win you those draws. You know, you kind of need to win those draws as a grinder, but he didn't tonight. But luckily, Chris Neil and the rest of them, they bailed him out. For the New York Rangers side of things, I mean, Derek Stepan, I think, just played an absolutely horrendous game. I mean, -2, only 2 shots on goal, 3 giveaways, 30% on the draws. I mean, as that second or first line guy, you want him to be playing a lot better than he was. He really dropped the ball tonight, and he really cost him the game, I think. I think it was a really bad game for him, and he was out there for a lot of the goals against. For some that played well, I mean, as you guys said, Rick Nash played pretty well tonight. I mean, this has definitely been his best playoff run since, like, his Columbus days. 6 shots, I mean, 3 takeaways, a hit or 2. I mean, he played well. Probably the best Ranger, in my opinion.
All right. We just had a crazy amount of viewers for like 5 minutes there.
Yeah, that was bizarre. It went up to like 140, and then
it was pretty nuts. I was like, I had to look at it like 3 times.
I think
Packers scared them away. I'm sorry if I scared them away. Come back.
I think it's because everybody's tuning in now because the game's over and they want to know how much the Senators suck. Anyways.
Yeah, exactly.
Whatever.
Let's get to the comments real quick. So besides that guy that kept asking what the score is, I want to give some shout outs to some people. Courtney Carr says, you know, she was commenting back to that Joker who was asking what the score is. I want to give her a shout out. She's always in the chat. That's awesome. Packer says, I hope the Sens don't get into the Cup final. He also said that, you know, how bad will the viewership be if the Sens do get to the final? My opinion on that is the Senators might draw a decent Canadian crowd, but in terms of the Americans, that's going to be a huge drop off. Like,
it's going to kill it.
like that's going to kill the ratings for the US if the Penguins or the Capitals aren't in the finals, because man, I don't think anyone in the US cares about the Senators. No offense, Senators fans. Derek Milani said old format is better, but same huge upsets. That's what you were referring to. Chauncey is going on about Brother Adam.
That guy's a smart.
Obsolete.
That guy's a smart.
Yeah, he is. What else we got? Jeremy is devastated. The big New York fan, the big New Yorker that he is. He's devastated that his Rangers are out. What can we tell Jeremy to maybe turn his life around at this point?
They only have one unrestricted. They have a couple of restricted free agents, but the only guy, Jesper Fast is restricted, Lindbergh's restricted, and Zabidijad, they're restricted. So you should be able to get those guys back. But other than that, you have pretty much your whole team coming back, except for probably Brendan Smith, who is an unrestricted free agent. So, they're going to be a playoff team at least for the next 2 years, I still think. They kind of, with Vigneault, I still think you'll probably, you'll keep status quo with the Rangers, right? They might add a couple pieces, but you're getting pretty much your exact team back. I don't know if you might not like that. I still think they have a decent enough team. I think they need to add scoring and look for them to go after Shattenkirk in free agency, because they struggled on their power play. I like McDonough, but they really need just an offensive guy.
They also need speed on their defense. True. Like I did see like of course you have Kreider and a couple guys offensively like Grabner that can, speed down the wing is nice, but defensively you need that speed, because the Senators, where they did, on the odd man rushes and stuff, we even saw it tonight. Sometimes their defense does struggle with the speed, and Shattenkirk can give you that. CBR Paul wants a shout out. What's going on, CBR Paul? Jeremy says the Senators will be a tough out. Yeah,
I think so.
I don't think so.
We never know until game one. Like, that's just the thing. Like, some people think that they'll be an easy out. Some people think that they'll be tough. It's interesting to see how they'll be facing.
We've seen Washington and Pittsburgh not play well, and those teams that didn't play well when Washington didn't play well, I think a lot of teams could beat them. If anyone played Pittsburgh yesterday, anyone would have won. The Vancouver Canucks might have had a chance against the Pittsburgh Penguins.
I doubt that. I doubt the Canucks would have been able to beat that
would have been
Pittsburgh
close.
The Canucks would have put it on their own net and probably
exactly.
lost.
We would have just thrown it in.
And another thing for Jeremy, you only have one more year of paying Rick Nash $8 million, and then you're good.
That's worth it. That's worth it right
there. Why
there.
are you putting disrespect on his name, man?
No,
Rick Nash is a legend, bro.
He is a legend, but I'm just saying, an $8 million player, that's a lot of money. I think you could probably get two solid $4 million players for one Rick Nash.
Chauncey has a message for you, Adam. He says, Adam, get off of YouTube. No 8-year-old kid. You got little kid school next day. Whatever that means.
Dude, Chauncey's the one that's always like, my mom's calling me. I got to go to bed. I can't be on the computer past 10. So I don't know what he's talking about me being a little kid, but whatever. Each to his own. Chauncey, I'm a huge fan.
Also a good point in the chat. Next round, Capital City team against each other. Could be U.S. Capital versus Canadian Capital.
That'd actually be,
That'd be
and then they go to war.
No thanks. So anything else to bring up for this recap?
Now you should plug your live hot seat thing tomorrow.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's right. Plug time. All right. So plug time tomorrow, guys. All of you 14 people that are watching right now, tune in tomorrow, because tomorrow is going to be not only the Penguins Capitals Game 7, where hopefully the Penguins smack that ass, but also we are going to be watching this game live on the channel. It's going to be me. It's going to be Trent. It's going to be Adam. We are going to be watching and reacting live. So while the game is happening, we are going to be reacting on the channel. Make sure you're in that chat. We might have a stream of the game as well in case you're not watching it. We'll see what happens there. But we're definitely going to be commentating over it because it's going to be hype. Hopefully it's a great game. Hopefully it's an epic showdown. I'm expecting nothing less. Also, after that, of course, we're going to stop the stream after the game. We're going to go watch Edmonton and Anaheim. We're going to come back here. We're going to do our thing. We're going to do a recap like we do every single night for both the games, in case you missed the live recap for the Penguins. And that's pretty much it. Also, to replug our social media, we are trying to take our social media to the next level. So if you're on Twitter, if you're on Facebook, and you watch our videos, like the Facebook page, The Bottom Line View. It's also in the description. And also, The Bottom Line View on Twitter. Give us a follow. That's where you can find all our content right away. The second it goes live, the second we go live, and the second it uploads, you'll find it there. Anything else to say, guys?
No, you said it all. It's going to be a great one tomorrow. See what happens. See what happens indeed. And you know what? And the first game is going to be great, but it should be. I'm interested to see what happens in the Anaheim Edmonton game. So both game sevens, because we haven't had 2 game sevens yet on the same day, because I guess only one went into game 7 in the first round.
None went to game 7. We haven't had a single game 7 yet.
So boom, game 7 time.
Yep, two tomorrow. Yeah, Packer, we had a Facebook and we kind of stopped it. We got lazy, but we're on there once again, and we're going full out with it, and we might even have specialized content for it, so you can go check us out there. The Bottom Line View in the description. Also, we already have a fight between the Capitals and a Penguins fan, and my boy CBR Paul, he says, I'm going to be here right with you, brother. Penguins got this. No worries. 100% agree. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Can't wait to see what happens from Mitch, Trent, and Adam. Peace out, and watch the SmackDown review if you're a wrestling fan. Peace.